So it's just approaching 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. First mate and his crew are leaving today. And this is where we're anchored because we couldn't get on the jetty last night. We're literally in the city centre. We're hoping that boat's going to go over there so we can get on there later. So we're having the water maker repaired this morning. So this is the start of week 5. Going to be an interesting week this week. First time me and Karen are on our own dealing with the boat. Quite looking forward to it, to be honest. Let's see what the captain says. You excited about being just the two of us, Mum, on the boat?
Yeah. Get rid of this little monster. He's a monster.
Nice guy. Okay, so for those of you who don't know how this works, this is our desalinator or water maker. This one is made by Desalator. And this is the compressor pump. And these are the membranes that we have the faulty problem with. So you can see there's 3 membranes. Salt water in, brine out, and the fresh water comes out the end of each tube. So this one's okay. This one's still giving fresh water. This one's giving partially salty water, and this one is very salty water. So these two are both getting changed today. So it looks like a fairly reasonably easy job, I suppose, once we've got these captive nuts off and take the whole thing out. But I'm glad I'm letting somebody else do it first, and then I'll know next time how to do it. So for now I'm just going to label these up to make sure they go back in the same order so we know exactly which one's which, because the casings will remain. The casings are very hard duty. It's just the membrane is actually inside these bung ends here. So as soon as the guy comes, we'll try and get a bit more footage. Water maker progress report so far. All the membranes are out. That's the spot that we're in. Pump's disconnected. Tools are there ready. The chaps are on with stripping the membranes out of the actual using, out the housing. So he's just taking the rods out now. So the membranes are called Filmtech membranes. SW302521. Okay, it's 1:30. It's Saturday. We've ditched the first mate and the rest of the crew. Just me and Karen left, and now we're off. It's really hot today. So we're on our way down to Bunai, hoping to stop somewhere around Campo what? Campo Cova, something like that. It's about halfway between here and Bunai. So we reckon we'll do about 4 or 5 hours today. Wind's dead against us when we turn the corner out of the shipping zone, which we're in at the moment, just trying to get out of Olbia. So we'll see.
First leg of our trip to Sicily.
Yeah, this is the first leg of our trip to Sicily and onwards to Italy and Greece and all the rest of it. So we'll see how we manage, just the two of us. So it's Saturday evening and we have found a nice anchorage in a place called St. Lucia, which is quite good. Bit of an update on the water maker. It has now been fixed and is working successfully. You can hear it maybe in the background buzzing away as we replenish the tanks and try and get rid of all the salt. A couple of things I've learnt in this experience. Firstly, that when Outremer put them in, they use the saltwater intake behind the daggerboard on the port side. Now the problem with this is, according to Desalator, it creates a Venturi effect, and if you're sailing with it with the daggerboard down, there's a good chance you're going to bring air in, and that air creates air pockets which can damage the membrane, which looks like what's happened to mine. We actually thought we had 2 damaged membranes, but it looks like one was damaged and one was on the verge of being damaged, but probably is okay. So we've actually still got that one as a spare. We have changed both tubes, so that's definitely a positive. So the water intake's in the wrong place, and the second thing that was wrong with our setting was that the salt water switch that dumps it to the sea rather than actually allowing it to go to the tanks was set too high. So we were making salty water and the switch was allowing that water to go to the tanks, which it should have been just dumping it to the sea and failing, going on poor. So when the guy has been and recommissioned the unit, he's now turned that right up, and it is, I think it was 5 microns or whatever the setting is for the salt water. He's changed the setting on our water maker so it only allows water through when it passes that quality check. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we shouldn't have the same issue again, because if it fails again it will just keep dumping to the sea and not allowing it to go to the tanks, which obviously leaves the hot water heater exposed and all the taps and everything else that are exposed to salt from the inside. So I think we've got over the worst of it. It's only been a week of actual salt water there, so we're just flushing everything out now, and we're going to Bonai tomorrow, so we'll run more water through, do some washes in the washing machine and get the dishwasher on and try and keep pulling lots of fresh water through, and then hopefully we'll be back to where we were 2 weeks ago. So I'll keep you updated. At the moment that's where we're at, so fingers crossed for something.
So we're just making our way down the east coast of Sardinia under engine today because there's no wind. You can see the sea's really calm. Beautiful coastline. And we're making our way to a marina called Novesi, maybe. It's near the town of Bauni. Staying there for one night tonight. So we've just got to a bit of a headland that we're motoring around. I just thought I'd take a little bit of footage of this amazing sort of rock formation. Neil's getting fenders out, ready for arriving at the marina. We'll put fenders out and get mooring lines out of the big lockers. He's disappeared in the locker. Just come alongside this cave. Cool, isn't it?
So it's Monday morning. We arrived in the marina yesterday and we're giving Wave Rider a really good bath. Now we've got water, we've got jetty water, and we've now got our own water maker water. So she's had a good bath, tanks are full, everything's clean. Karen's got the washing out. We've used the laundrette facilities here. So we've got all the washing done, ready for new clientele, Andy, and ready to go. So from here, we're going to pop down the coast a little bit to get some fuel, to make sure we're fully fueled up. And then it looks like the winds are better for us to go tomorrow than later in the week to Sicily. So we'll do a longer crossing, but we'll set off tomorrow and hopefully do it in about 28 hours, maybe 30 hours, something like that. So it should be quite good, hopefully. First time doing a long crossing with just the two of us. Ah, she looks really good when she's clean. It's a bit tight coming into this marina, I must admit. We had to reverse in, which was fairly straightforward, but they have these tie-off buoys for the bigger ships right in the middle of where you need to come in. So reversing in through that gap there, whether you can see that or not. So reversing through that gap, had to avoid that yellow buoy, whilst avoiding all these lazy lines or slime lines on the boats on the right, coming in and reversing through this gap between these two yellow buoys and into here. I'm glad there was no wind, it wasn't difficult. Looks like it should be the same going out, no wind again. Okay, so this is our new morning routine. Off to do the bins, look at the bin housing. Same routine, we're only actually here for today, so there's another view of Wave Rider from the port side, in the port. Ah, she's a good looking boat.
Oh my god, what are they doing? How are they even up there? Where have they come from?
Interesting. Herd of goats on the harbour wall. You're the ringleader.
Somebody's got a bell on. Which one's got the bell on? So we stopped for fuel and they were out of diesel. So they've sent us away to come back at 3 o'clock. So we've just anchored just outside of where the jetty is for fuel, which is a bit industrial over there. This is a lovely beach, turquoise water, and Neil is doing some sort of boat checks. Oh, who's he gone? Checking stuff. No doubt there'll be jobs to do when he comes back up. Back under there, Neil.
Good.
Any jobs to do?
No, just clean the hole where the water maker draws in. There was a little pebble or something in it.
Good. But everything else looks good.
Yeah.
Great. So we're just making our way to an anchorage for the night before we set off really early tomorrow morning for our trip over to Sicily. We filled it with fuel and we've just come around this sort of tip of a headland. This is on the east coast of Sardinia and I've just spotted this place here. It just looks beautiful. I think it's a resort. Really gorgeous. Good morning. So it's 6 o'clock in the morning and it's Tuesday. We are just getting up early to set off to Sicily from Sardinia. So this is the bay that we spent our last night in Sardinia. It's near the town of Tortoli. So we're going to be setting off straight to Sicily. It's a 150-mile trip. It's going to take us about 30 hours. Hopefully 30 hours. Unfortunately, there's quite a bit of motoring because we haven't got much wind during the beginning of the crossing and sort of near the end. So we're hoping we get a bit more sailing in the middle. It says we're going to. The place we're hoping to get to in Sicily is called San Vito lo Copo. So I'll let you know when we get there.
I was supposed to get some wind at about 10 o'clock, so we've got a couple of hours of motoring just to get out away from the coast to hopefully catch the wind. As you can see on the radar, there's absolutely nothing ahead of us for the next 24 miles. And we've only got 5 knots of wind, which is a bit light really for getting the sails out, although we are flying the mainsail at the moment. As you can see from our course, I'll just tilt that way there. So let's put it on the main chart. You can see that we do need to keep going on this southeasterly before we kick a bit further to the east. And then I'm hoping we'll get to this point, that's when the wind changes and we can start pushing to get the sails out and running across here. So we have the boat all set up, ready to go for a full 30-hour passage, which is probably what this is going to take realistically with the light winds. We have the bed made up in the salon. We have the chart repeating on the TV, so when you're laid in bed you can see exactly what's happening and keep an eye on the weather. Sorry for the flickering, but that's just the speed of the camera lens.
So we're well on our way. Quite a few miles off Sardinia now. We can still see Sardinia though, just. And Neil's putting the line out. So hopefully we'll get something to see.
So the wind forecast is slightly out, and actually we've got a better angle for the Jenica than the Code Zero. So we're just going to swap this sail out and put the big blue up and see how much speed it gives us. Currently it's travelling at about 4.7 knots, so let's see what the difference is. Bit of tinkering with the main, bit of tinkering with the Jenica. Let's take that speed up to 8.6, 8.7. We have actually seen 9 as well. So hopefully if we can carry this for a little bit, that'll be really good. Just to give you an idea about how fast we're travelling. 10 knots now. That's serious. Fishing line's out. No sign of a fish so far though. The lure's still on.
We've possibly got a fish.
Oh yeah, gap. Big gap. Big gap.
Hold on.
First fish.
Oh, look at that. Oops, wrong one. See if we're successful bringing it in. Here it comes. Don't know what it is.
Get the washing basket.
So it's in. It's in the basket. Dad?
First fish!
Yay! Uh-oh.
Okay, so that's the result of our first fishing trip. There's probably enough tuna there for 2 meals maybe even 3, what do you think?
Yeah, great.
Great. So obviously weren't particularly picky on how we cut it off. We could have got a lot more off it, but first attempt, it'll do. So it's 4:30 and we are moving along at 7 knots. Everything's good. Sea's quite calm. And Karen's found her ideal spot.
So after an exciting day, we've had a lovely sail. Haven't had to change the sail all day, it's just had the same sail up. Caught a fish. We've now lost the wind a bit. Our speed dropped right down, so we've put them in. We'll put the sail away, put the motors on. I'm just starting my first shift of the night while Neil goes and has a couple of hours sleep.
So it's the 31st of July, it's Wednesday morning. We had a really good sail last night. We're just coming into Sicily, we're about 20 miles away. You can see there from the chart plotter. We're still sailing even though we've only got 4.5 knots of wind, 3.3 knots of speed, which is pretty good really, considering we're just saving diesel by just chugging along while we both recover from the night shift. We're making water, water maker's on down there. Yeah. And it's very quiet outside. Sun's up, I've got the sails to put away this morning.
Good morning, everyone. So, we've just arrived in Sicily yesterday. Time to get in, about 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Is it 1 o'clock?
Yeah, like that.
And we anchored straight away in a bay at San Vito Le Coco. We were very tired, so we just had a chill out day. Had an early night. It was a bit rolly, so we weren't sure what to do today, whether we were going to stay or carry on. Anyway, we decided to make tracks round the north and then east coast of Sicily to get across to Italy. So we're going to try and do about 45 miles today and get to a place called Termini in Meres. And we're just making our way. It's a bit slow wind. I'll show you the sails. Neil's just said we should maybe put the spinnaker up. Think about that. This is the coastline that we're just following. Here, Sicily. It's much hillier than I thought it was going to be actually. Big hills. Really slow wind this morning. It's only like 4 knots. So we're just going along quite steadily, doing about 3.5 knots, 4 knots. Get some more speed up if we did put the spinnaker up. and Neil's watching a bit of the Olympics. Laura's out there watching the horse show jumping. And that's it for this week. So say bye. Bye.
Bye.
Most extraordinary, dramatic start.